330 Sports Show. Today is Thursday, November 20th, 2025, and we are a Youngstown studio production. I'm Justin Coffin, joined by Joe Midlick today. So special guest host. Our guest today, I'm gonna give a very brief intro and let him tell you more about himself. Our guest today is a former 5-star recruit from not too far away, Farrell, Pennsylvania, but also went to Dublin Kaufman High School, a legendary All-American Ohio State Buckeye, and also a former second-round pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2012. So he wrapped up his career with the Chicago Bears in 2016, and now he kind of travels all around as a yoga instructor. We're going to have him tell us about that while taking on his latest role, dad. So let's welcome to the show, Mr. Mike Adams. Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, the newest and the best role.
Yes.
Best role.
Yeah, absolutely. And that yoga, we talked before, like that yoga training now picking up, a little baby, like getting down on the floor, that's gonna pay off.
As you would imagine, they don't make changing tables quite my size. So I'm true. Like literally leaning over to pick up everything, changing diapers, changing clothes, doing all the things. You gotta bend at the knees, not the waist.
Oh yeah,
a football thing.
Oh yeah,
right. Be a knee bender, not a waist bender.
Mm-hmm. And just like playing football, you can practice all you want, but that is something you learn on the job. You trial by fire there.
Yep.
You know what's better than your own kids? Grandkids. They are so much better. There is really a special love. I mean, we have 5 grandkids. One's out in Los Angeles, 4 in Pittsburgh, and I could honestly say the 16-year-old, and you met Layla.
Yeah, very
she's
talented
literally
singer.
My best friend. Okay, literally. I mean, we go to concerts together. We go to plays together. She's really into music and theater a lot. So, in fact, back in August, she had her first professional gig at Jimmy's Italian Specialties. She did a 2-hour gig there and was fantastic.
I remember when she was getting ready to do that because you were so excited at the studio.
Yep.
And it's probably hard not to be your best friend as
absolutely.
your grandkid.
Yep.
Well, proud grandpa and proud dads here at this table. So that's awesome. So Mike, how has your life changed, the last couple of weeks as becoming a dad?
Throughout different times of my life, I've had different experiences with sleep. So I like to think I've practiced for a little bit of the lack of sleep that there's been, but really it's just incredible just to hold her and to look at her. I was saying the other day, like, talk about connecting with God. I think looking into your child's eyes and then looking back in yours is probably a direct line.
Absolutely. And I just, I know you and Joe have known each other for a little while, but just meeting you today, I can feel like the good energy coming off of you, and you're just a chill dude. And so that will in turn right back to your daughter. She's going to have those same vibes as you. So that's awesome. So Mike, let's get into it a little bit. And I got to say, Mike, too. Well, first of all, Joe, thank you for setting this interview up.
Sure, my pleasure.
But we're going to get to the yoga studio and all that stuff. But I do want to talk about your journey. So tell us a little bit about, I mentioned you were from Farrell, Pennsylvania. You went to high school at Dublin Kaufman outside of Columbus. So tell us a little bit about, your story growing up and how you got to eventually Ohio State.
Yeah. So, born in Sharon Regional Hospital. My family's a Farrell family. A lot of Farrell football and basketball players, volleyball players from my family over there, and a lot of steel mill workers. So in 1999, my mother was remarried, and it was a not so great marriage. And we knew one person living elsewhere, like outside of the valley, and it was Columbus. And so she just one day, after a fight with said husband, was just like, hey, like, would you care if we left, like, right now? And it's just 9-year-old me. It was like, whatever we got to do, Mom. Like, so we packed a bag, hopped in the van, and we drove to Columbus. And we stayed in this woman's house. This woman was one of my mom's cousin's ex-girlfriend, right? We were desperate to just anywhere we could get, right? And so she was gracious enough to let us stay with her for, you know, a month or so. And then we had some cousins who moved down and we moved in together, big blended family, you know, 4 kids and 2 moms and a dad, you know, like all cousins. And just, it was quite the experience. And those cousins are like my siblings today.
Right.
You know, also incredible moms and dads, both of them, all of them. And, but so that's what got us there. And then my mom met one of my high school football coaches, and he quite literally just told her that they would look after me as their own. And if she got me to stay in district, you know, and she took that serious because she could tell they meant it. Yeah. And I ended up being in Dublin, and my coaches treated me like I was their sons. You know,
that's great.
They made sure that I stayed on the straight and narrow. And when I got off, if I got in trouble, I was held accountable, you know, all sorts of those things. But really it was, you know, I had a bunch of really great men in my life who made sure that I had God in my life, and that I always knew that everything I did was for something bigger than me. You know, even in high school, I started speaking on different like middle school and elementary school campuses with this organization called Stand and Deliver with Larry Larson. And it was all about like talking your faith and just paying it forward and working with the youth. So I had a really good foundation that was set there, being close to Ohio State. You know, obviously going there as a 5-star #1 tackle in the country was an incredible dream come true. You know, I grew up a Buckeye fan. I took my first visit was actually to Michigan. So
really?
Yeah, that was a little curveball there. They came after me really hard, really early. And Lloyd Carr was awesome. Like he was a heck of a coach, had a really good program going as well. But you know, Coach Tressel, like I love that man so much more than words can say. He has been there for me over and over and over, you know, while I was playing, in ways like he's the person who first put me in group therapy, because he knew that I was going through some things. One of those cousins that I spoke of passed away when I was a freshman. And while I was here home on like break for winter, and, you know, I had the duty of telling the other siblings. And so it was a really traumatic thing that happened, especially at 19 on winter break, you know. And Coach Tress knew that I was down and out in a bad way. And he connected me with a group, a student athlete group that met once a week, where there was 5 other kids who were going through some really wild things. And it was supposed to be something that I did for a year, and I ended up doing it for the next 3 years, because it was just such a great outlet for me. And, you know, where it started for one thing and it just evolved into me being able to be vulnerable and open up. Which I think in large part has kind of, you know, it was kind of a precursor for the world that I live in now and the things that I do now. So I really love Coach Tressel, and I'm so grateful for my time with him.
Absolutely. I mean, he is, and anyone that truly knows him, he is a genuine guy, gets it deep down. And, you know, so many of these coaches today or players today, you know, you're seen and you're judged by wins and losses, you know, but like at the end of the day, you're human, you're people. And you go through it just like, you know, the garbage man, or, you know, the guy working at Starbucks or whatever. It's like you guys have feelings, and like Coach Tressel and that story right there to connect the dots shows how much he cares for his players.
Absolutely.
So, you know, Mike, like getting to Ohio State, you know, you had obviously a ton of success there, you know, and, you know, it came with good times. It came with a little bit of controversy towards the end too. But I do want to start, since we're only 9 days away. So we'll go on current events. We're only 9 days away from the game. And you had a lot of success versus that team up north. So tell me, now we talked about Jim Tressel, like, you know, what he meant to you and all this. Now, he came into Ohio State in 2001, I believe, with a new perspective. You know, John Cooper is just another game. Jim Tressel, oh no, it's every day. And he gave his speech. So tell us a little bit about what that was like being a Buckeye, but also preparing 365 for that team up north.
Yeah, it was, you know, it's something that is talked about every day. and not just as a player, but as a recruit as well.
Mhm.
You know, like they let you know exactly what it is. And once you get to Ohio State and you start out in the strength and conditioning programs and all of that stuff, and you see how there's just every day there's always bulletin board material of Michigan all over the place, like even in the urinals.
Oh, really?
There's like articles. So when you're standing there taking a pee, you have to be looking at like something disrespectful that Michigan did, or something, some Ohio State Michigan history, those sorts of things. And then quite literally, like physically, we're working at it every day, in a practice setting. Practices are broken up into periods, and they're typically like 5 or 8 minutes long, and there's about 10-15 periods per practice. Had like the hardest, most physical point climax of practice every day. We had what was called maize and blue period, which you would be with your position. So offensive line, we would throw on these big like harnesses, like like a sled pulling dog,
right,
and you would have a guy behind you pulling you back while you're just trying to drive, and we would do that back and forth for different distances, while our coach is yelling at us, blowing the whistle, for that whole 8 minutes, and then right back to whoever we're practicing for. That, and then I was so blessed to have Coach Cooper come in and talk about like, I probably didn't approach that right, and have Coach Earl Bruce come in and it's Michigan, to be able to have those guys, and the old guys like Jack Tatum and John Hicks and Orlando Pace, and just to get to spend time with those guys and learn from those guys about their experiences and how important it was and how much it meant to them. Even after Orlando Pace, he was, on a 13, 14, 15-year career in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Still, that is still something that like gets at him. You know what I mean? And like, when you're part of the brotherhood, like I've got my 3 gold pants tattooed on my forearm. Mm-hmm. When you're part of the brotherhood, like, and not only part of the brotherhood, but in life, you are judged by wins and losses, and Coach Tressel fully understood that and understands that. That's why his book is called The Winner's Manual. Mm-hmm. Like every single day, not even just about Michigan, but like in general, we would have quiet time every morning as a team. And in the beginning of quiet time, he would say, okay, today we're going to flip to the caring and giving section, or the how to handle success, how to handle failure section. And we would flip to that section in our winner's manual, and we would read through all of these different readings from there's stuff from the Bible, there's stuff from like the Bhagavad Gita, there's stuff from all these different spiritual texts, all of these incredible minds, Albert Einstein's, everyone, like the most incredible people you can think of. It's comprised of all of the things that he's read and put together, right? That make you a winner in all of these separate sections. We would read for 10 minutes, and then he would come up and he would have like 4 or 5 guys come up and share what they read and what really stuck out to them. And like starting my first years of independence outside of my mother's home, mm-hmm. with that type of mindfulness.
Sure.
Although I made some mistakes and was going through some things, and, doing the foolish thing of learning everything on my own, it was something that, again, a precursor for what I do now, but something that just really helped me build a solid foundation as a person.
Sure.
And like I thank him all the time.
That's
for it,
Wait, do you guys still stay in touch to this day?
Oh, absolutely. He's got the Team Tressel fitness challenge going on. I've got a couple schools in the area where we go and get the kids jacked up about working out.
Yeah.
I actually, just down the road here, I did a day with the Rich Center for Autism, where I went in and, do some yoga with the kids.
That's great.
Some push-ups and stuff. And that place is really awesome. Right next door to the Watson Tressel Center.
Right.
Center, right. Yep.
So I love it.
That's fantastic.
Don't you have a signature tattooed?
Yeah, I do. Tressel era right on my forearm.
That's great.
It's a whole Buckeye deal.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah. You got the whole rotunda.
You do.
Sugar Bowl, Gold Pants, Sacred Brotherhood, all the stuff.
And the thing I love about, the brotherhood that everybody talks about, that went through even when Luke Fickell took over, when Urban took over, now with Ryan Day, they still talk about that brotherhood and connecting the future to the past and the current guys. And that's phenomenal. Like, what's your relationship to the university today?
Yeah, the brotherhood is something that is, like Woody Hayes years old, like back before that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like I quite literally spent a lot of time with the 1970s teams guys, and it was really close. Like when John Smith goodness gracious, John Hicks was, rest in peace, was on his deathbed. One of the guys called me and was like, "Hey, big fella, I know you and John are really tight. He's not doing so great. Would you like to talk to him one last time?" And so I got to thank him, and that's like what the brotherhood really is. Like it is so much bigger than football.
Yes.
When guys are going through things, like we have a group chat with hundreds of guys in it, and it is corresponding daily. When you're going through things, when you need help, when you're just kind of looking for advice, whether it's about being a dad or a business owner or whatever, like the brotherhood is there every step of the way. And it's not like that at other schools. Whenever you leave Ohio State and you go to the NFL, when you get to your new team, people are always like, "Man, so what's it like being from Ohio State, man?" Like, and you tell them and they're like, "What? It's nothing like that." Like, I'm talking about the Alabama guys, the Georgia guys. They're all like, "No way, dude. Like, we don't have that."
Yeah.
And so it's really something special. It's just every time I go to a game and I'm hanging out with my boys and, all those things, or someone gets married and we're all at a wedding or anything like that.
Yeah.
It just validates over and over again the decision that I made to go to Ohio State, and why I went to play for a guy like Tress, who, there hasn't been that many head coaches at Ohio State, right?
Yeah, right.
It's sort of the same thing. Like I played for the Steelers, same thing there.
Tomlin.
Yeah, I'm going to pick your brain about Tomlin.
The most stable organizations and teams.
Exactly.
They don't have a lot of changeover, because greatness is there, and because it's in the processes, it's in the character and all of those things. And it's a lot more than just how you go and play a football game.
Absolutely.
Like we were so good on the field because we cared about each other so much, like even, being 19, 20-year-old guys, like if we were at a party on campus, like we all stick out above the crowd. So like, even if, we're young guys, so if so-and-so's over here dancing with a girl and so-and-so's over here, we're all like looking like brothers. We're all good, right? And it's kind of like that today. When you go in that stadium to go see a game, we all kind of sit and like our seats are in a big section. And when you get in there and you stand up and just look around and see which one of your guys are where, everybody's always looking for, it's awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I can't believe you met Jack Tatum. I mean, Jack Tatum, I mean, I'm older than you guys, and watching him play during those days, I just admired him. I mean, people were just so afraid of him. In
I was
fact,
going to say hardest hitter in the NFL for a long time.
In fact, there was a book out called Semi-Tough, and the author based the safety after him. And in fact, he called him Dreamer Tatum because when he hits you, he puts you in a dream.
I love it. Yeah, he was famous for that. Go out there and punch him in the mouth.
Right.
And Jack was so cool. Like, so when you have your pro day at Ohio State, like, your combine on your home turf, right?
Yeah.
There's like a big roped off section of bleachers, and it's the brotherhood, and it's all the old guys. And so John Hicks and Jack Tatum would always be there together. They were boys.
Yeah.
Jack with his super long dreadlocks.
Right.
Be out there just supporting the guys, and getting to spend time with those guys. They would come to practice and things, and getting to spend time with those guys was awesome. They still had that old school, like kill 'em mentality.
Oh yeah.
It was, I'm so grateful that I got to come up in the era of football that I did, when there was no defenseless receivers and all these things.
Right,
and it was like
Yeah.
hard-nosed smash mouth football. It just, you had to keep your head on a swivel, you know what I mean? But it just added a different element of, to the game, and to the dog that is the man, you know.
Absolutely. I want to step back just a little bit and go back to when you're that 5-star tackle, when you're at Dublin Kaufman High School and Lloyd Carr's recruiting you and Coach Tressel's talking to you and probably 30, 40 other schools are trying to get in your ear. What was that process like? And second part to that, what advice would you give to a kid that's in that situation right now?
Oh, man. The advice would be to make sure that you have good, genuine people around you. People who want to do things for you for nothing. Like they don't expect anything in return. Those, in my experience, are usually the people who care about you the most.
Yep.
For me, my high school coaches they're like Jim Tressel quality guys, you know, and they spend a lot of time with him too, being right down the road and having me as a recruit, as a way in. My offensive line coach, Tom Turner, incredible man, incredible coach, and Mark Crabtree, my head coach, Hall of Fame Ohio high school coach. Those guys made sure that I always knew that it was the team above me. You know what I'm saying? And being a kid who, like, we struggled to live in Dublin, you know, like my mom was donating plasma to pay the bills and stuff. Like, you know, and for me, it was like, I didn't go on vacation, you know, like other kids were like, yeah, I'm going to Cabo or I'm going to Aruba. I'm like, what's that? I'm going to the weight room with Coach Crabtree.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you where I'll be all break, you know? And like, and when I wasn't there, I was here, you know, I was here with my family in Farrell, and like living in a place like Dublin where, you know, I mean, like Dublin, there's a PGA event there, you know. I mean, like I got friends who grew up on like the 5th green type stuff, you know? Going from having sleepovers at those houses to coming back here and like reality check, like, you know, I moved there from a $10,000 house in Farrell, you know. It was really instrumental for me to stay humble, you know, like to know like, wow, this is how these kids live, but I don't live like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom's crying looking for help because she can't afford to feed me every day. Like, that's why I'm at your house raiding your pantry right now. You know, and like, it, like, there was a part of me that like whenever things got tough on the football field, or like I really needed like to like really just kill somebody, like crush a dude, in my head I would have this thing where like, I'm from the city of champions, because that's what Farrell's motto is, the Steel City, and I'm about to kill this dude. And it was like so cool. Like, so for me, like I've moved all over the place and like I travel a lot, but something always brings me back here, and it's the grit, you know. It's the love that the people here have just for being from here, right? Like, this is a place where when I was a kid, it was quite literally thriving, you know, like there was so many more people here and all that. So I've seen it on the decline, you know, and like, over in Sharon, PA, we got a really cool, like, Bring Back Sharon, PA initiative going with some awesome people. And, just getting to be back here makes me so proud, you know, and just getting to be around like these people, you know, like you can go anywhere in the world and you will always meet somebody who's from like Youngstown or Pittsburgh, you know, like the Rust Belt, right? And we're special kind of folks, man. It's
can just appreciate the grind.
And like that stuff was like what lived in my heart as a recruit. Like I felt like I needed to prove something, right? Like I looked at it as all these kids have all these resources, and I've got heart. And was a huge kid, like huge kid, dude. When I went from 8th grade to 9th grade, over the summer break, which is like 2.5 months, I went from like 6'1", 205 to like 6'4", 250. Right. It was like, it was so painful, my knees and my back. But like, I was an athletic 6'1", 205, like big 8th grade kid playing like fullback and defensive end and all that. And then like overnight, over summer, my coaches put me in 75 and they said, you'll thank us later. I played defensive end and offensive tackle. I wanted to be Javon Curse at the time, the freak. And then I found out who Orlando Pace was, and I was just like,
An icon.
Yeah, I was like, that's who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so every day, I mean, I had coaches in my life who, when they knew I was committed, they were committed to it too. And so every day we did all the extra work. Like when it came to school, no matter what was going on at home, like I had progress reports every week to make sure I was doing all my homework. And if I needed help with something, I was getting help with it. Those guys were awesome, man. Like I owe so much to them. I'll never be able to repay them, but like, I just feel like life has been a series of just good people.
Yeah.
But I will say from a coach's perspective, though, I think you work hard for your athletes, but in turn, those athletes return so much more to you. Yeah. You see them grow. You appreciate. Like we're trying to like get the best out of you, but in turn, you becoming the man you are is payment to your coaches.
Yeah. It's like people know and remember the way that you make them feel.
Yes.
And when you have, as a young man, when you have other men who walk the walk, you know what I mean? They don't just tell you what to do and then live a different way, but you actually see it in them with their families and all those things. When you have those kind of guys investing in you, it makes you feel compelled to do the right things. Right. And yeah, so like, it was just a lot of doing extra work. I played basketball a little bit, had a little beef with the basketball coach because he didn't want me to play football.
Okay.
That's where I'm like, brother, come on.
Right.
So did track and field, had an amazing track and field coach, shot put and discus.
I would have guessed that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we did a lot of like sprint work to be explosive. So that was really great for keeping me in shape. But I mean, in Dublin Coffman, we had a program, an elite program. There was like 1 week that you could go on summer vacation with your family at the beginning of the year, but then you were expected to be there like every day of the week, right?
Yep.
And we got after it, and we had a group of guys who really cared about each other, and we had some really good teams when I played there. I like to say, like, I might have been the number 3 player in the country for my class, but I don't know if I was the best high school football player on my team. We had a guy, Steve Gardner, who played line. I played both ways in maybe 2 or 3 games. Steve Gardner was like the only player to play both ways in Dublin Coffman history.
Right.
He was 1,000-yard rusher at running back, and he went to Michigan State to play defensive end.
Okay.
Had a good career there, battled some turf toe stuff, but he still owns every tackling defensive record at Dublin Coffman to this day. And like playing with that guy was an honor.
Yeah.
Like, but it just like we had 2 All-Americans in my senior class, 7 big D1, commits. Our quarterback ended up at Ole Miss. Another wide receiver or All-American tight end came to Ohio State with me, Jake Stoneburner.
Yep.
Okay.
He played in the league as well.
Yep.
We had a cornerback go to New Mexico, another wideout go to Syracuse, Steve at Michigan State. And then the class under us, who they were semifinalists as well, they had a bunch of D1 guys too. So it was like, we good timing.
Yeah, pretty decent group of guys there.
Yeah, it helped for recruiting. It was like there was at my high school, dude, there was coaches from every single school you could imagine daily. Like because they were there for, Dave Wanstead's there for these couple of guys. Brennan Carroll's here from USC for these couple of guys.
Yeah. Jim
Tressel's here. The whole school shuts down. Lloyd Carr's here. Kids are walking down the hallway saying "Go Bucks!" Like like it was really cool. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah, in Dublin, and I know it's a very expensive place to live, but it is a great community as a whole. Like I mentioned, my buddy, his kids go to Dublin Jerome, and just the whole community is a fantastic place. Go ahead,
yeah,
Bill.
You had this really illustrious career at Ohio State. I mean, all 4 years there, right?
Yep.
And then I'm going to bring this up, but I think it was in your junior year in which that little incident happened, what they called the Tattoo 5. And you told me recently that they may be making a documentary out of the Tattoo 5.
Yeah. We've got some stuff in the works now. Can't really talk much about it, but it's a story that I think definitely needs to be told.
Yeah.
And that, was so impactful on our lives and, negative way and positive ways.
Sure.
Whatever way you're able to perceive things, right? That going through that with those other 4 guys, and there were other guys involved as well, but us being the 5 plus our coach, who they made a real example out of. Gosh, talk about traumatic. The NCAA, when I was in school, was the judge, jury, and executioner, right? It was whatever they said went, and it didn't matter. Nothing mattered. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you might go try to appeal something, but it didn't matter. You're appealing to the same people who already found you guilty.
Exactly.
No third party ever. Yeah. Right. And so it was quite literally like we were under federal investigation. And what happened was, there was a guy who owned a tattoo shop that we all met at a bar out on a Friday night in the off season, and he was like, "Hey, I own this tattoo shop. Come on by sometime. You guys, we'll just hook you up," And so it wasn't like we traded memorabilia for tattoos. We just could get free tattoos. And when you come in, you could sign a mini helmet for them or whatever. And it was all good. And then if you had memorabilia you wanted to sell, you could sell it.
Yeah.
Right.
He had stuff from years and years back. Old stuff, rings, gold pants, jerseys, all kinds of things. So seeing that, it was oh, so guys do this,
right?
You know what I mean? It wasn't we were the first ones who ever did this. And that was my freshman year when that happened. And then my junior year bowl practice was when we got the tap on the shoulder. So we were all it was funny, when Stan Jefferson, our player development guy, came around tapping all the guys on the shoulder. It's the end of practice, we're stretching, and he taps Boom Herron, Devere Posey, all Big Ten, Terrell Pryor, all everything, me, all Big Ten, and then he taps Solomon Thomas, who is a backup defensive end.
Yeah.
And we're what? This just went from a media thing to oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it was when they called us into a room, they're you can't talk to each other. You have to sit here quiet, blah, blah, blah. And we're
right.
And then, one by one, they take us into a room and sit you down with a bunch of attorneys and all kind of stuff. And
that'd be frightening.
What in the world?
I mean, you're what, 2019?
Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
And, and they're they give you this paper and the top sheet, it's covered up. So then they're go ahead and remove the top sheet. And it's my ring from my freshman year that I sold this guy. And I'm all right, well, it looks like you got, what you got.
Yeah.
So what do you want me for? What's up?
Exactly.
And it was just, I was just what? It was crazy.
You couldn't even accept a free drink in a bar Justin and I could.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. We used to get noodles and Co for free because the guy who owned it was really, really nice. And it was so scary because every time you went in there, the NCAA would quite literally have agents on campus at places they knew we hung out looking for us to get free stuff. Crazy.
So I'm going to juxtapose this with a story, and I'm going to just use the University of Tennessee because I know this happened there about that same time. They had bagmen, the old McDonald's bag. Hey, I'm going to give this kid a bag. There's $100,000 in there or something like this. We are literally talking about, I'm going to look right in the camera. The NCAA, you are a spineless organization. And I am still to this day, especially after the whole Connor Stallion stuff, Michigan got no penalty basically for that. But to take and for actual cheating on the field, there was no competitive advantage. We are living in the world of NIL today, where guys get Lamborghinis for going on a car commercial. You guys traded your own personal property for tattoos or signed a helmet or something like that.
Incredible.
What complete bullshit and It's ridiculous.
I'm going to say this about Mike, and correct me if I'm wrong. He sold some of his stuff to get money to drive back home to see his cousin who was ill at the time.
Well, yeah, it was after my cousin had passed.
Yeah.
And I was coming back and forth to be with the other two cousins. And the rest of my family, my whole family was here. You know, I just lost one of the people who was closest to me. I was 19, she was 16. And yeah, it was like I needed to be here.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't have money, and I couldn't just say, "Hey, mom."
You couldn't call your mom, right?
Well, you can't go out and get a job either.
$60?
You're working full time, and you're a student as well.
Yeah,
which people forget. So
you know, and it's like
absolutely
the money
crazy.
that I got, like when my friends asked their parents for money to go to B-dubs or whatever for wings or whatever, like it was easy for them. The money that I got extra, like my granddad was the one who would give me extra cash, and he worked freaking like 100 some hours a week at a time in the mill for as long as I could remember, so that he could do that. You know what I mean? Like, it was never something that I took for granted. So whenever I was able to, like, you know, have some sort of value or worth that, like, I can make some sort of money to be able to do some of these myself.
Yeah,
I did that. And like, what else did I do with that money? I bought my cousin's freaking shoes for Christmas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like, come on. And there's a bunch of like, excuse me, but like wealthy white people who make 6 figures a year working for the NCAA who are over here, like quite literally taking me out and whipping me, you know, like it's crazy. Like for them to have made part of the stipulations for us to play in that Sugar Bowl that we had to sit and do a public apology on every network. Like that's incredible. Yeah, we sat up there.
I remember that.
At a table in front of every media outlet that you could possibly imagine, and had to go down the line one by one and say sorry to the NCAA, to the university, and to our team. And like, I'm like, dude, like I'm literally on the cover of all the magazines in the bookstore right now that y'all are selling.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
And I will say this now. NIL, I think in itself is a great thing. It's a great thing. It's not set up for guys to make multi-million dollars, but it's in place now for guys exactly like you in your situation. When you're growing up, give them some gas money, give them some money for family, friends, whatever, or just to go out and have a little fun too with your friends.
I mean, honestly, like the capabilities with NIL are so great for these guys because not everybody makes it to the league, and the average career is only like 2.5 years. In my case, like as a 5-star offensive tackle who's like all Big Ten a couple times and stuff, I mean, like that guy in today's world is getting paid like a couple million.
Exactly.
You know
Right.
Which is, you know, changes everything.
And some of these guys are even staying in college because they're going to make more in college than they would in the NFL. You know, like Travion Henderson last year, he's like, I'm going to go back for another year because I'm going to make more than I would be as a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
So,
Then you told an incredible story, and I listened to your other podcast when Jim Tressel had to resign. And could you walk through this? Because when you told that story, I choked up.
Yeah. Man, talk about a day. So, you know, we were on winter break when the news broke about, like, you know, that this about what the sanctions would be. And so we come back and, you know, we have a team meeting and we have like a team workout, right? Like a really, really tough team workout. But like, you know, it brought us together and it was kind of our welcoming to Coach Fick. Like, we're going to stand behind you, you know, like we love you. You know, he played there. It was an absolute dog there.
Yeah.
And then after that workout, you know, Coach is like, all right, I want everybody to go into the outdoor. And we go out or into the indoor facility, you know, the field. And we go out there and the big garage door opens and a car pulls in. You know, Tress is a true Youngstown guy. He moves like a mobster. One of his best buddies, Bobby Mansfield, pulls in, gets out, opens the door. Coach Tress gets out and like, everybody just starts bawling tears, like he has this, like we're all bawling tears. He walks around and hugs every single guy and tells them how much he loves them. Everybody's crying. Like, it's crazy, like, and then, we all take a knee, and he, told us about how much we all meant to him, how much Ohio State means to him, how much the state of Ohio means to him.
Yeah.
And, it was like, man, it was so surreal, because there's not a person in the world who cares more about that place than that man, and who cares more about that job,
Right.
and the ability to impact the young men on that team and the people in the organization, right? And he got back in the car, and they drove away, and I called him and I was like, Coach, I need to come over, I need to see you. And so he's like, come on. And me and JB Shugart's my best friend. He was the right tackle.
Yeah.
All three, classmates, all that. We went over to Tress's house, and, we're sitting in his sunroom, and, beautiful big windows, and his dogs Scarlet and Gracie are there, and he's drinking his Coke, and, we're boo-hooing and stuff. And I'm like, Coach, like, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, Michael, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I know before I make a decision about anything, this summer I'm going to read 100 books. And I was like, he's like, and then I'll figure it out.
Wow.
I was just like,
Yeah.
what?
Right.
Like,
Jeez.
you got all this
tough.
stuff going on right now, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to take this time to just read.
Calm in the eye of the hurricane.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like, literally, like, he's got 2 big 300-pounders on his couch crying, and like, Coach, we love you so much, and like, and he's just like, it's all right, boys. Like, it was like, Coach Tress made me feel often like not just once or twice, but like every time that I walked past his office and walked in there and just sat with him, he made you feel like when you got the best hug from your dad,
Yeah.
and your grandpa at the same time.
Right.
Like the power of the love that guy leads with, whew,
And I mean,
is unreal.
Just listening to you talk about it now, I can see it in your eyes.
Oh,
I can
dude.
hear it in your voice.
When he became the president here, I came over to his office, and I was like freshly retired, like might have been my first year out of the league. And I came and sat with him, and we're talking about, like, I told him I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I'm asking him how like the transition's been for him. He's like, Michael, he always called me Michael, never Mike. Michael Adams. He's like, Michael, when I coached, I had the ability to directly impact, 106 of you, and plus 40, 50 other people, in operations and whatnot. And he was like, and now, he was like, and then when I was, and now as the president here, I have the opportunity to directly impact about 13,000 kids every day.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because then he becomes lieutenant governor.
And now look at
And
yes.
12 million.
He had, 100 of us former players to the governor's mansion to
Really?
Yeah, to just have dinner with us, him, his wife, Governor DeWine, and his wife, and then to quite literally open up the floor, stand in front of all of us with their wives, and for hours, just he said, so like now I want to open up the floor, and like I want to hear from y'all as fathers and husbands and educators and doctors and all these things. Like, what do you want from state government? And so we're talking policy with the big man for hours, and and it was awesome. And then that's how we talked a lot about what we want for the kids and all this stuff. And so he started his kids fitness stuff, the tour that he's on now, and and in that talk he was like, as the president, I had the ability to impact 12,000-13,000 people every day, and he's like, now I've got like 12 million Ohio
Right.
This is
Right.
incredible, and he's
I wish
like
you'd be
him.
running for governor.
I
really do.
I actually I have a counterpoint to that. I love Coach Tressel. I love him as a person. I love him as a coach. I don't want him to be governor because I don't love the world of politics. And
Yeah,
and I'm
understand
happy to
that.
stay out
I
of
don't
that,
want them
but-
to try to ruin him. I don't
Exactly.
I don't think that they could.
Right.
Right.
But like, I would
Yeah.
hate to see people even just like trying to take shots at him
Exactly.
for campaign stuff. Like,
Yep. Yeah. I think that was I'm very happy he made that decision. I think that was a wise choice. Although I think he would have been a great governor.
Me too.
We sure
Me too.
would.
Yeah.
Mike, I won't call you Michael. I'll leave that for Coach Tressel. But let's skip ahead a little bit and let's go to draft night.
Yeah.
So, I know you were probably thinking you were going to be a first rounder. I know a lot of the draft experts, and you had an off the field incident that might have caused you to fall a little bit.
Oh.
But I mean, you didn't fall far. You're a second rounder. But you want to talk about that and then getting your name called by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Absolutely. So I started this out by saying I have a dog named Doobie and a daughter named Mary Jane. So it's a maternal grandmother name, Mary Jane, but also like, I've enjoyed my cannabis and still do.
Sure.
I have a dog named Joplin, so take it from there.
Yeah, see, there we go. And playing football, you're taking a lot of hits and your body's sore. You're working out like crazy, and throw full-time school on that too. It's a lot. So cannabis was always something that I used to relax, to feel good, to sleep.
Mhm.
When you're bashing skulls all day, sleep isn't always easy, right? And when you're 300 plus pounds, also like sleep isn't always easy.
Sure.
Your quality of breath and things like that, when your neck is so thick, get challenged, right? And so cannabis was always something that helped me with all of those things. And so through college, even though we weren't supposed to, a lot of us still did, and had our little ways to pass drug tests and things. Not that I never failed one. But so when I came out for the NFL Combine, I knew they tested. So I didn't smoke for probably like 7.5 weeks. Went out to Arizona to train. The first weekend in Arizona to train for 8 weeks. One of my freshman roommates from college had transferred to U of A. And me and Shugarts were out there together. We were all roommates. So we went to visit him for a weekend. The last day on Sunday, this girl runs into his house and she says, Avicii's about to throw a secret set in such and such parking lot. This is 2012.
Yeah.
Avicii is like the biggest thing out. Levels is fresh on the scene.
Right.
And I was just like, this is, yes, count us in.
Right.
And so we go, there's like, we're partying in Arizona on a campus that has palm trees. Like, yes, I'm going to smoke the weed.
Right.
I'm about to train for 8 weeks and get in great shape, sweat it all out. It's all good.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And then I went to the combine. I was the first person in line for the drug test at 4 a.m. I was like, yes, I'm clean. Can't wait. Let's go. First round. And then on my 22nd birthday, like the day after my pro day, which crushed it at pro day, pretty much cemented that whole like top 15 status. And the day of my birthday, it was the morning of, on the 10th, I was turning 22. I got a call at 9:30 a.m. I was still in bed. All my best friends from here were sleeping on the couches in my living room of me and JB Shugarts' house. And my mom's like, hey, you got a letter from the NFL. And I'm like, oh, what's it say? And she's like, it says you failed your drug test for marijuana. And I was like, what? And I was like, what did the levels say on it? And she says the cutoff was 15 nanograms and you had 17. 2 nanograms is like the last hit of the last doob that I smoked, right?
Right.
Like if I was more hydrated when I took the drug test, I wouldn't have failed it. And so I look at that. It would be really easy to look at that as like, oh, poor me. But like, I was just kind of like, well, it's my own fault. I've never been one to run from accountability. And so I quite literally called up Coach Tomlin and was like, hey, Coach, like, I got to talk to you about something. Can I come see you? And so I drove from Columbus to Pittsburgh. He was like, yeah, come on up. I drove to Pittsburgh to the practice facility, went and sat down with him and Art Rooney and Kevin Colbert.
Yeah.
And
It's pretty intimidating.
Yeah, and I was just like, look, fellas, like I messed up, like I failed the test at the combine. They wouldn't have found out anyways unless it got leaked. But just I wanted to be ahead of it and forthcoming because you never know what could happen anyways, and just like integrity, right? And so I went there, I told them what happened. They cussed me out for like
I can imagine
an hour and a half, like legit, like just told me how stupid
even Art Rooney.
Oh yeah, he voiced his displeasure. Coach Tomlin and Kevin Colbert cussed me out.
There you go.
And and I just sat there and took it. And they were like, all right, so for now, you're going to be off of our draft board. What you need to do is you have to go see a doctor and have him like write up like basically a doctor's note, do a psych evaluation.
Oh, wow.
Have him write up a doctor's note with his findings and in hope that they say that you don't have a dependency problem.
Right.
And I was like, all right, cool. And they gave me a list of doctors I could use, and one of them was at Ohio State. So I literally walked across the road from like my dorms and went and saw this doctor. And I was like, hey man, like this is what happened. And he was like, all right, I'll evaluate you.
Sure.
Like, do you feel like you have a problem? I'm like, no, I mean, I made an honest effort to not, like, I wasn't like fiending and itching, like, anything like
dude,
that.
I went to an Avicii concert.
Yeah,
Right.
dude, like you never know when that's gonna happen. I made a 21-year-old decision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And and it's so funny. Like he, did that, and then back on the draft board, I knew that they were probably gonna pick me in the first round because of just how well we got along. They brought everyone to my pro day. They sat with my mom and my grandma for my pro day, like, and my grandpa, like it was incredible. And I look at it not as like a poor me thing, but like it was divine timing. Like God wanted me to be in Pittsburgh. He wanted me to be around the people that I was around. They were able to draft Dave DeCastro in the first round, who Dave and I trained for the combine together.
Okay. Is
Arizona.
he a Stanford guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
We trained in Arizona together, got close there, got drafted 1-2, were roommates for our whole career together for that 4 years. That's who I worked out with every day. That's who I stayed with in the hotel and road games, in the dorms at camp. Like Dave is he's my closest friend from the NFL, one of my closest friends that I've ever played with. He bought the car seat that I have in my car.
Oh, really?
That's great.
Yeah.
As a gift. And the Uggs that are on my feet. Like literally, Dave DeCastro, my guy, I love you, brother. But like, getting to make a friend like that, and we played next to each other as well. I think it was just, God putting me home, near my family. I, had a lot going on family wise at that time too. And then just having me around the right teammates, Marquise Pouncey is one of the most incredible football players you'll ever meet. Like the way that guy works and the way that he's wired, and not just as a football player, but as a man, like now, like he's an incredibly hardworking guy with a lot to show for it.
Yep.
It was great to get to play with those guys, the Troy Polamalu's, the Brett Kiesels, the James Harrisons. Like, man, playing with James, like getting to go against him every day in practice and him teaching me things was like a dream come true. Like I grew up a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
Like, and having those guys as friends and being a part of that brotherhood now. It's so cool. Like I wouldn't change how that happened, like for anything,
you landed in the perfect spot.
I landed
for you.
where I was, how I was supposed to. And also like I'm a man of faith, and I also believe had I made $7 million more at that time, like I don't think I would have been able to steward the blessing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like I know that that's okay. Like I feel like life happens in loops. God will, if you fail the test, God will give you some time to, figure out the lesson, and he'll test you at it again. Right. And like, and I like to think that is a loop that I learned so much from, it's just like being a pro in everything you do, and like and being yourself too. Like there was a lot culture wise in the NFL when I got in the league around like partying and stuff that was it was just really old school. You know what I mean? And like guys, especially offensive linemen, they drank a lot and all that. And you know, I went through some things early in my career where I got stabbed in the stomach in an attempted carjacking, and that like took me down a really dark path where I was, you know, having a lot of suicidal thoughts and ideations, and PTSD really bad, not sleeping. And I would like, I would oftentimes drink to be able to just fall asleep for more than an hour. Right. And then go to football. And, you know, it came back to the whole cannabis thing. Like I was in the drug program for 2 years for failing that test, where it's like, you get tested 11 times a month. It's like federal probation. If I want to go somewhere for more than a couple hours, I'd have to call and let them know where I was going, when I'd be there, how long I'd be there. And like, if you miss that 4-hour window where they show up at wherever you are to test you, it's a fail, which like is a lot of money, because that's a whole game check. So my rookie year, you know, that's like 50 grand, you know? And so it was one of those things when I was able to like smoke a little weed again. That was the first night that I was ever able to sleep again without having the same repetitive night terrors every 10 minutes.
Just like you, I do take gummies at times and smoke. Now. And when I do take the gummies at night, I sleep right through the night. It's like the best sleep. One of the best things that happens to me is when we travel out to LA to see our son. Tanner and I, our son, will sit on his deck and share a joint. I mean, father and dad. I mean, it's just great.
And you see now, like even like the NBA, the NFL, they've relaxed their policies on drug use because
it's legal.
And I think it's a mental health thing now too. Like you don't hear this side of the story very often. You hear this player X failed a drug test, he's out, and like the fans of that team, oh, why is this guy being a jackass? Why is this guy doing this or that? It's like you don't see the whole story. You don't know the picture.
The picture that people I feel like come up with is like so and so fails a drug test for smoking weed. They see the picture of you at the club, with the bottles, getting crazy. When really a lot of times it's like you at home with ice packs on, watching film, playing with your kids, like just feeling okay,
or trying to get
it on. Like dad's in his theater room smoking a doob, or in his cigar room, or in his garage, and then like he feels okay. Like he's like, dude, that is a 2-dog, 1-bone world, right? Like you are on edge. You know, people talk about that switch. Like when you're walking around at football, being evaluated on everything from body language to how you move. Like that's really tense. And when you get home, that's not some stuff that you want to carry with you. You know, that's not the energy you want to bring to your kids, right? And so, and like you said, now it's legal. So it's like, if you can take a couple hits of a doobie or eat some gummies and like freaking just let go, so your nervous system can relax. Like,
you know, and to jump on that a bit, for 2 years, I took care of my wife's uncle who had Parkinson's. I mean, for at least 1 year, I lived with him and I went back and forth. I wish I was able to get him some kind of marijuana because of all the pain that he was going through. I really do.
My dad passed away in 2020, and some really good memories I have with him is while he was dealing with kidney cancer and stuff from working in the steel mills. Smoking a doobie with my dad and just being able to laugh and relax and see him feel good, and like, you know, not be thinking about what he's going through. You know,
exactly.
Let's talk some more about your yoga studio. Okay. I understand, and I'm smiling really big now, that you're going to be opening a second yoga studio in Sharon.
Absolutely. So some really awesome people in Sharon over at JCL Development, Jim Landino and his wife Jen, they are just the most incredible people who care about this place so much. So they've got over 80 properties. Essentially, like, they will, if there's a person who wants to, you know, have their business in Sharon and it's a good business and all those things, like, they'll build it for you, you know, and like just for you to come. You know what I mean? And so they believe in a lot of the same things that I do as far as wellness and just being good people and paying it forward. And so they are building us out Home Yoga Co. Part 2. Right on East State Street in downtown Sharon, where the Wave restaurant.
I know exactly where it's at because I think I told you that I deliver food to people who need out in Mercer County, and I drive past the Wave every 2 weeks. I go to a facility there to drop off hot food, and then I deliver food to people of need in Farrell, which are frozen dinners. So I know exactly where it's at. You know, some of the yoga folks that are at your studio in Boardman want to go there, and then after that go to the Elephant 8 to get some Indian food.
So Jim and Jen also built the Elephant 8 for
really?
the people who own it.
Oh, if you love Indian food, that place is so good.
Oh yeah, we go there regularly. Sushi too.
Yeah.
It's they have so much great stuff going on. They've just built a new rec center with indoor pickleball, turf fields.
Yeah.
All kinds of indoor mini golf as well. A new 16,000 square foot gym, you know, really focusing on keeping the kids in the area to train and things. And I mean, they've got, like I said, like 80 some properties that they are, you know, transforming into beautiful, beautiful things. And it's great to be a part of their vision.
One of the great things about Mercer is every summer they have a senior Olympics. Okay. And they do anything from pickleball to golf to basketball. And then they have a track and field. Okay. And we deliver food to those folks too. And I was there, not this year, but the past year, delivering to the track and field. And they had two 90-year-old ladies running a 20-yard dash.
That's wild.
It was wild. Oh. So great. But getting back to your studio, you have so many different types of practices. I mean, you have Bodhi and Pilates, which, you know, I'm a big fan of. Yeah. It's with the straps on the wall and all the stretching. And then you have, you know, like the power yoga, you have the easier yoga. You have that one called sound bath, in which you do like a power class first. And then if Luke and Isaac, if you're listening, a sound bath is not with water. Okay. This is a really cool type of stretch and rest.
Yeah. So, we've got something for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, we've got stuff where, you know, you're going to leave really sweaty and like feeling like you've pushed through some things. And we've got some classes where you're going to just feel totally relaxed and restored. Right. And so it's about whatever you need, and having a well-rounded practice. On Wednesday nights is what Joe's talking about. I teach a power flow and chill first at 5:30. It's 75 minutes. We're getting after it for about the first 45, 50 minutes of it. And then the last portion of it is like deep stretch and all of those sorts of things. And then directly after that at 7, I teach a sound bath and chill.
Okay.
And so I pull out my crystal bowls, sometimes some Native American flutes, rain stick, other things like that. And we do like some different kinds of guided meditation and all of that with all of the sounds and some conscious connective breath work to drop you into like your rest and digest nervous system.
Yeah.
With all of that, you know, wordage, you know, for lack of a better term, it's like the most chill thing you'll do.
So chillaxation.
So you two are kind of yoga experts. I'm a novice. So explain to me, and anyone watching or anyone that listens in the future, what are the best benefits of yoga? Can I
say one thing really first?
Ahead, yeah.
The reason why I took yoga starting 11 years ago, believe it or not, was to improve my golf game.
Oh, okay.
Because I read it in so many magazines.
Core strength, right?
Core strength, concentration. Don't forget about the concentration, especially like in yin. You have to hold the pose for 5 minutes. And after my first year of yoga, I'm in 2 different golf leagues. I won most improved player in both leagues.
Let's go.
And the only thing that I bought new was shoes. I mean, I used the same clubs, the same types of balls. So it really opens up your shoulders, your waist, you go through. So
physical strength, mental strength.
Yeah. So like yoga, there's like 8 limbs of yoga, and one of them is movement. Okay. So that's like just a small part of it. And the movement though helps you to connect to all of these other areas. And really what it is an opportunity to just get to know yourself better, to see the ways that you think, to see where your mind goes when you're like under stress and you're trying to do these really tough things.
Yeah.
To take accountability for the places that your mind goes. And then to use your breath, which is like, you know, like think about what matters the most, like what you can't go without. Like you can go without water and food for days, weeks, whatever, right? But like breath, I mean, what do you got? Like a couple minutes, maybe?
At most, yeah.
And so when you learn how to breathe, your breath is the direct tool to your nervous system, right? You can use your breath to get yourself all jacked up, or you can use your breath to like calm yourself down. And so that gives you a chance to be able to sit with your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, and to be able to like quite literally cope with them, right? You know, there's a pose called chair pose that I really like a lot. It's like you're just sitting in a chair that's not there, right? So you're squatted down, it burns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You start thinking about how much you hate the chair, how pissed off you are at me, all these things. And then I tell you to smile. And then you're like, oh, what the heck, dude? And like, and then we start to breathe. And as soon as you start to breathe, you forget all those little stories that you've been writing for the last minute. You know, it's pretty incredible.
And the other thing it helped me with was when I was taking care of Uncle Jack. It gave me the patience and to work with people. So I swear by it. Yeah. I really swear by it. So
I'm as most people know me, I'm a nice, easygoing guy for the most part, but my anxiety levels tend to, especially around the holidays, you know, stuff like that. I tend to. So it sounds like something I could. I want. So what we're gonna do? So what we're gonna do? Because we're on a little bit of a shot clock here, but I do want to follow up as long as you're okay with it. I love that. We're gonna do a virtual. You know, maybe a little mini podcast, maybe do some demos, but we're gonna go out to and tell us where, because we didn't mention where.
So
that is in Boardman.
Home Yoga Co. 615 Boardman Campfield Road, right next to Raphael's Beauty School in the Kebab House. So
perfect.
Yeah, you come
and get
over,
a great meal right afterwards.
Come on over, get your nails done and stuff, get your hair done next door. Come take a nice relaxing class, and then go have dinner at the Kebab House.
Heck yeah.
Or just come to a power
one-stop shop
after it.
Okay.
And you can register on MindBody or
you
call
can register on MindBody. That's the app, or you can register directly on our website at homeyogaco.com.
So we're gonna get in touch and set this up. We'll try to get it. We'll figure out a time and day, but that's something I'm looking forward to.
Maybe we could get some yogis there and go through the class. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Do not put me in the beginner class though, please.
We'll put you in the back of the class. Which that's the best place
that's perfect. That's perfect. So can we do you mind? Can we do a couple rapid fire before we close out of here? So and if you got any at the end, throw some in. So rapid fire.
I do have one. Go ahead, just one.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Lead off.
In both professional and college, being the offensive tackle, left or right, who was the dirtiest, meanest defensive player you ever played against, both college and pro?
Oh man, playing left tackle, they're all like that guy. I've played against a bunch of Hall of Famers, Jared Allen, Julius Peppers, Dwight Freeney, Terrell Suggs. I would say just playing in the Steelers-Ravens games and those rivalries,
right.
That Suggs and Doomerville and those guys, those were like some of the more intense ones, just because that rivalry is just incredible. But yeah, I mean, I played against no shortage of greats. It'd be hard to pick.
Okay.
And the AFC North is a different animal.
Yeah.
Different animal. And I do want to say this. I think most people know that watch this show and they know you. Like we're Browns guys, but I will say this. I respect the hell out of the Steelers organization.
Me too.
And I wish the Browns could get to that competency level at one point, but we'll turn the page on this. Yeah. So rapid fire, Mike, you ready? All right. Favorite Buckeye teammate?
JB Shugart.
By the way, is he coaching in South Carolina?
Yeah.
I have a buddy, Dave Beard, that coaches
to the semifinals this week. They were state champs last year.
That's fantastic. Pittsburgh or Chicago, better food scene?
Gosh, I mean, Chicago is just so big, but Pittsburgh has that food that makes your heart happy.
Okay.
Ooh, you're a politician there.
Harder workout, 2-a-days or hot yoga?
Oh, there's they don't
question.
even allow 2-a-days anymore. So that'll tell you.
Okay. All right. Favorite stadium, college or pro, you've ever played in? Can't be your home stadium.
Oh, can't be my home
Can't
stadium.
be.
The Shoe has my heart for sure. But I mean, yeah, Heinz Field, the Shoe, they're so great. Playing in Denver, Peyton Manning's first game as a Bronco.
Wow.
Sunday Night Football, my first NFL game ever was.
Is that
wow?
Really?
Incredible.
Wow.
Playing
Okay.
against Von Miller.
Yeah.
And you're playing at elevation there too.
Yeah,
so
yeah. It's too nervous to feel like
best trash talker you've ever gone against.
Oh, best trash talker I've ever gone against. He's a Michigan guy. Played against him with the Eagles a bunch. Brandon Graham.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Song that gets you hyped. Or artist.
Oh man. The Kingdom by Maverick City.
Okay. Pre-game meal of choice.
Always spaghetti and meatballs.
Okay.
Oh, God bless you,
Nice.
man.
Garlic bread on
Good
the
old
side.
Youngstown
That's
favorite
right. Get
here.
that pasta.
Garlic bread on the side.
Let's see. Dream yoga retreat. I see you're on these different retreats. Dream yoga retreat you've would love to go to.
Oh goodness. We've had them in some pretty awesome places: Ecuador, the Dominican, Costa Rica, all those places. I would say I would like to go to Bali.
Okay.
Yeah, Bali would be pretty great. Indonesia.
Best sports city: Columbus, Pittsburgh, or Chicago.
Oh gosh. Well, see, Columbus has the Buckeyes, so
Yep.
Yes.
it's like it's the greatest thing ever. As far as wanting to go see other sports, I would say Pittsburgh. The Steelers, the Pens, the Pirates.
Yeah.
Like PNC Park to go see a ball game.
That's
Mhm.
one hell of a
Talking
stadium.
about
It
beautiful,
is.
and
Yep.
like the Penguins games. Like I don't even watch hockey like that, but like they are so hyped. The
Mhm.
atmosphere is just
Yep.
incredible. And then Steelers games.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Like when that Renegade comes on and you hear that dum, dum,
Right.
and the
Yeah.
cows get to waving.
Yeah.
Oh man, nothing like it.
The one thing I think is really cool about Pittsburgh is all their teams have the same colors.
The same-
Yeah.
So I
agree.
do think that's
agree
really
with that.
unique about
Yep.
that
Yeah, the
city,
city
and
is
that
united.
I
Black
think
and
that's
gold,
kind of
yep.
cool.
Yeah.
And final question, since again we're 9 days out, how does Ohio State beat Michigan this year?
By being the more physical team. I
Good.
think when it comes to that game, there like you can't trickery this, trickery that, fancy this, fancy that. You got to go out and like punch them in the mouth, like Jack Tatum said, and quite literally, like it's not a good sportsmanship game.
Nope.
No, it's like go out there and take it to them.
Absolutely.
Like every time you hit somebody, you got to have the intent that you're putting them out.
Yeah.
They're not coming back. You got to want to make those guys afraid to look you in the eye because they're embarrassed you've been kicking their ass so bad. And I think when you have that mentality and you're able to focus and execute and not let the moment be bigger than you, then that's when good things happen.
Well, Mike, I want to close it out on that, but I want to say it's an honor and a privilege to have you down here, and it's very rare that you can meet such a gentleman that's such a badass too. So we appreciate you taking time. Joe, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And make sure, give us one more plug for your studio.
Yeah, Home Yoga Co., Boardman, Ohio, 615 Boardman Canfield Road. Come see us.
And we're gonna do a follow-up in the next couple months. Get down there and check out what Mike's doing down there. So again, Mike Adams, great Ohio State Buckeye, legendary Pittsburgh Steeler. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
OH.
I-O.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget